Hello from Shanghai, this is Lisa. Welcome to another episode of China Currents, your weekly news report of what's trending in China. Let's start with the China Arab State Cooperation Forum, which was opened in Beijing on May 30th. At the invitation of President Xi Jinping, leaders from Bahrain, Egypt, Tunisia, and the UAE will pay state visit to China and attend the opening ceremony of the 10th Ministerial Conference of the China Arab State Cooperation Forum. Chinese state media called the forum a reflection of the solidarity and cooperation between China and Arab countries, underscoring the willingness of pushing China-Arab relations to the new stage. On the 30th, President Xi held talks with visiting Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, in which Xi emphasized the history of friendship between China and Egypt. He mentioned that Egypt was the first Arab and African state to establish diplomatic relations with China, and 2024 marks the 10th anniversary of the establishment of the China-Egypt Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. According to Chinese media, two of the most crucial topics for this forum would be the Palestine issue and further cooperation between China and Arabic states. Li Xingang, a Middle East researcher at Zhejiang University, believes that the four Arabic countries are either actively involved in pushing for a ceasefire in the current Israeli-Palestinian conflict or are somewhat involved in the crisis. The participation of the leaders of these four countries at the Beijing-held conference, on the one hand, reflects the importance that these countries attach to promoting cooperation with China. On the other hand, this shows that the leaders intend to take this opportunity to discuss a political settlement of the Palestinian-Israeli issue with China. The common stance to support the just cause of the Palestinian people, shared by China and Arab countries, has always been a significant element in Arab-China cooperation. Next up, the East Asian Summit. On May 26, Chinese Premier Li Qiang arrived in Seoul to attend the 9th Trilateral Summit meeting among China, Japan, and South Korea. Li had a meeting with South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida on the day of his arrival, with Chinese experts from the state media saying the three major economies in East Asia will make pragmatic efforts to make sure the economic development and integration of the region will not be affected by bloc confrontation and geopolitical crisis. Analysis from China indicates that the three countries are currently facing different challenges due to the disruption of the global supply chain and other impacts. So they all have a sincere motivation and realistic desire to resume the trilateral mechanism at this point, as they want to seek cooperation with each other and prevent potential instability by boosting senior-level communication between the governments. Premier Li Qiang was not the only Chinese official who met with Japanese Prime Minister this week. On May 29, Liu Jianchao, head of the International Department of the Communist Party of China, met with Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida in Tokyo. In his meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister, Liu mainly focused on the issue of Taiwan, stating that Japan should adhere to the One China principle, effectively safeguard the political foundation of the ties. Maintaining stability of the Taiwan Strait is in the common interest of both China and Japan. Liu's remarks come after Japan's recent reckless reaction towards Taiwan's newly inaugurated leader Lai Ching-te. Previously, on May 23rd, Chinese Foreign Ministry slammed Japan, warning the Japanese side not to convene at or support Taiwan independent separatist forces in any form. Speaking of turbulence in the sea, on May 29th, state media revealed that China is preparing to build more Type 055 destroyers, which is a class of stealth-guided missile destroyer mainly used as its primary escort for Chinese aircraft carriers. State media stated that the building project reflects the Chinese People's Liberation Army Navy's strides towards the blue water and efforts in safeguarding national sovereignty, security, and development interests, as well as peace and stability in the world. According to Shipborne Weapon magazine, a major non-official Chinese military magazine, the Type 055 is considered the world's best destroyer in terms of comprehensive capabilities, and adding more Type 055 can give the PLA more tactical flexibility. The PLA Navy has been a provider of international security goods since last decade, including its regular export mission in the Gulf of Aden and waters of Somalia, as well as humanitarian aid and disaster relief mission when needed. Next up, still on Taiwan, on May 27th, the 77th WHA, which kicked off in Geneva, Switzerland, refused to include a proposal of the so-called invitation to Taiwan to participate in the WHA as an observer. Chinese Foreign Ministry said WHA's action fully demonstrates the One China principle is where global opinion trends and the arc of history bends, and must not be challenged. The ministry indicated that once again we would like to make it clear to the DPP authorities that the abiding commitment of the international community to the One China principle is unshakable, and the trend that China will be reunified is not to be reversed. Taiwan's independence runs contrary to the interest of our compatriots in Taiwan, and any attempt to seek Taiwan independence by relying on external forces leads nowhere. The One China principle is a prerequisite for Taiwan's participation in the activities of international organizations, including the WHA, and this is a fundamental principle reaffirmed in the UNGA Resolution 2758 and WHA's Resolution 25.1, said Chen Xu, permanent representative of China to the UN office in Geneva. Next up, Huawei, the Chinese tech giant's patent, has just revealed its 3nm class process technology plans. According to tech news website Tom's Hardware, when Huawei and Semiconductor Manufacturing International Co. (SMIC) patented self-aligned quadruple patterning SAQP lithography methods to produce advanced microchip earlier this year, most assumed the companies were working on building chips using their 5nm class fabrication process. Apparently, that's not the limit of their plans, as Huawei is now looking forward to using quadruple patterning for 3nm class manufacturing technology as well. Next up, as the Sino-US tech war unfolds, the US is considering measures to regulate the export of open-source large language models as part of a broader effort to safeguard American AI technology from being accessed by countries like China and Russia. The proposed bill, known as the Enhanced National Framework for Overseas Restrictions of Critical Export Act, aims to grant the White House the authority to restrict the export of AI models deemed a national security threat to China. How would such a ban on open-source LLMs export affect China's AI development? Or is it the US politicians being dramatic? To answer this, we need to first take a closer look at Chinese LLMs. AI experts in Silicon Valley are well aware of what their Chinese colleagues have been working on. In a post on X, head of research at Stability AI observed that many of the most competitive open-source large models, including Q&E, InterNL, DeepSeek, BGE, Cog, VLM, and other models, are actually from China. And he goes further and concludes that the narrative that China is behind on AI is simply not true. Mr. Abraham is definitely not alone in expressing the enthusiasm surrounding the remarkable performance of Chinese LLMs. Another exposed Liquid AI senior scientist from machine learning, Maxime Lebon, weighs in and shares his excitement on the high score of Q1 1.5 to 110B of Alibaba. In April of this year, the Chinese tech giant released the first trillion parameter level model in Q1 1.5 to 110B mentioned above. This model can effectively process content lengths of up to 32K tokens and supports multiple languages including English, Chinese, French, Spanish, and German. Building on the transformer architecture, it incorporates an efficient group query attention mechanism. The model's foundational capabilities are on a par with those of top-notch Western LLMs, exhibiting outstanding performance in chat-based evolution scenarios such as MT-Bench and Alpaca Evo 2.0. It's no wonder the QM 1.5 2.0b has claimed the top seat in Hugging Face league table for open-source LLMs. On the high potential of the QM model, Bindu Reddy, the founder and CEO of Alpacas.ai, utters the rallying call for it to join the open-source revolution that would break the monopoly of big capital. The rise of Chinese LLMs doesn't stop at Q1. DeepSeek V2, nicknamed as LLM's Temu for its surprisingly low cost, has surpassed GPT-4 and claimed a top 3 spot in the Linebench ranking. The Linebench ranking project focused on benchmarking the alignment of LLMs in Chinese. DeepSeek V2, while closely rivaling the capability of leading closed-source models, has significantly reduced its API pricing to $1 for every million tokens input and $2 for output. This pricing is only 1/7 of Llama 370B and approximately 1/100 of GPT-4 Turbo, making it an exceptional value proposition. Despite its affordability, DeepSeek still managed to turn a profit, achieving a peak throughput of 50,000 tokens per second on machines equipped with 8 H800 GPUs. With the output API pricing considered, each node generates an income of $50.4 per hour. Taking into account the cost of the 8 H800 nodes in China stays at around $15 per hour, DeepSeek servers can yield a remarkable profit of $35.4 per hour, resulting in a gross profit margin exceeding 70%. These notable features, including efficiency, usability, and groundbreaking pricing, address the urgent need of the open-source community. These advancements have gained significant attention from SemiAnalysis, a reputable semiconductor research and consulting company. In an extensive article published on May 7th, SemiAnalysis specifically highlighted DeepSeek V2 as the phoenix from the east, praising its exceptional cost-effectiveness and its dominance over other models from an economic standpoint. The article also suggested that industry challenges for OpenAI and Microsoft may extend beyond the United States. While some Chinese models like DeepSeek prioritize the supremacy of computational power focused on economic efficiency, others like Q1 adopts a comprehensive approach, expanding their repertoire of model sizes. However, the majority of companies adhere to the scaling law, fervently pursuing large parameter sizes. In contrast, ModelBest Inc., a Chinese startup, takes a divergent route by striving to minimize parameters. Their aim is to maximize model efficiency with lower deployment thresholds and reduce usage costs, accomplishing more with less. On February the 1st of this year, ModelBest unveiled the Mini-CP M2B model, consisting of a mere 2.4 billion parameters. Not only does it outperform models in its class, such as Google's Gemma 2B, but it also surpassed benchmark models like Mistral 7B in performance, and even outshine larger parameter models like Llama 2 13B and Llama 2 70B chat in certain aspects. Only 70 days later, the company is on the move again to reveal the Mini-CPM Llama 3V 2.5 multi-model model, which represents a significant leap in performance, showcasing unprecedented achievements. Following its open-source release in the international community, Thomas Wolf, the co-founder of Hugging Face, promptly acknowledged this development in a post, remarking, "China has presented a series of astounding technical reports and open-source models such as DeepSeek, Mini-CPM, Ultra Feedback, etc. The data and experimental results are openly shared, a level of transparent knowledge sharing that has been missing in recent Western tech model releases." The smaller parameter size of models like Mini-CPM brings forth numerous advantages. Firstly, it allows China to overcome the challenge of a relative shortage of advanced AI chips. Secondly, these compact models can be deployed in devices and robots operating in remote areas with limited or no internet access. Presently, most devices powered by large language models require a consistent connection to access LLMs deployed on the cloud through APIs. However, with models like mini CPM, robots operating in jungles or underwater environments can rely on their inbuilt LLMs independent of external connectivity. This breakthrough opens up new possibilities for deploying AI capabilities in challenging and resource-constrained settings. Furthermore, the case of mini CPM Llama 3 v2.5 provides a valuable lesson on the significance of international cooperation. As implied by its name, the model is built upon the open-source Llama 3 from Meta, serving as its foundational model. While the open-source environment strives to narrow the technology gap between nations and social classes, there are those who seek to widen it. Rainer Kostler, one of the early investors in OpenAI, has raised concern about sharing LLMs with China. However, no one has responded to this concern better than the AI luminary Yann LeCun. AI is not a weapon. This statement by Yann LeCun emphasizes the importance of viewing AI as a tool for progress and collaboration rather than a means to create divisions or conflicts. It highlights the need for responsible and inclusive development and deployment of AI technologies, with international cooperation playing a vital role in ensuring ethical and beneficial outcomes for all. The case of mini CPM Llama 3 v2.5 demonstrates the positive outcome that can arise from global collaboration and the open exchange of knowledge and resources in pursuit of advancing AI for the betterment of society. And that is all for today. Thank you for watching this episode of China Current. If you have any thoughts and comments about our show, please reach us at the email address below, and Lisa look forward to hearing from you. And see you next time.